Now, I think the metal egg material is going to be the most complex one, so that's where we're going to start. I may set up a new layer. To make this easier for myself, if I go to the Glass Egg tab and right-click on my glass egg material, in my right-click menu I can select Objects with Material, and then over here in my layers I can create a layer from my selection and turn those off. This will be my glass egg layer. And then I'll do the same thing with the stripe eggs. Right-click, select Objects with Material, Layers, create layer from selected, stripe egg layer, and turn off. So now I'm left with only the metallic eggs. There are two really big things that I'm going to need to make these look more like foil-wrapped eggs and less like perfect metal objects. For both of them, I'm going to use either a fractal or a noise node. You could use both and mix and match, but I'm going to stick to one. So I will start with a fractal. I am going to close the Create bin at this point so that I have a little more room to work with. You may have noticed in my previous video that I also use a very deliberate organization system. The Place 2D texture comes into the fractal. The fractal goes out into an AI range node. The AI range node goes into the egg material, and the egg material goes into a shading group. I will always use the same or at least a similar configuration so that my tree starts this way and continuously flows output, output to input, output to input. Now, to make these connections, I'm going to connect the out color of the range node, the out color of the fractal to the input of the range node. And then I'm going to begin by taking the range node and plugging it into my base color. And that's purely so that I can see what's going to happen. Right now I'm getting these kind of big splotchy patterns. I might make those a little bit more pronounced. Maybe just a little bit. And I think that for that really foily look, I will also come into the 2D texture node and give this a couple more repeats. I want a slightly tighter pattern. Now I'm not going to keep this connected to the base color. I want my base color to be bright and cheery for Easter eggs. And the fractal will make it kind of dull. Instead, I'm going to use my AI range node in two places. First, I'm going to connect its out color R to the specular roughness. And just by doing that, it already looks more like a metal foil. Because at this point, I'm getting all of these flecks, and the metallic highlight is nicely broken up. If I think it's too much, I can still come back into the range node and turn some of these aspects down and get a more subtle result. So I have the ability to adjust this pretty simply. The other place I'd like to be using my range node is in a bump. I'll just move these down, and now I can connect a bump 2D. Again, I will take out color R and plug it into the bump value, and then take my out normal to the normal camera. You'll see that the eggs turn completely black. That's an indication that my bump2D node bump depth is up too high, so I'll try turning that down to 0.1. That's still a little too high, so let's try 0.01. And now I'm starting to get some of the metallic back. I'll go even a little lower. Let's try 0.005. Bump depth needs to be very, very subtle. So I'll go one more, 0.001, and that should get me back to a point where I've just got a nice tiny amount of breakup on the surface. It's very subtle, but it makes a big difference. Now I'm going to go a little higher. Let's try 0.002. Yes, I like that better. The last thing I need for the metallic egg is I need something for color. In this case, I'm going to use a ramp. I'll do a ramp texture. And I'll just pick some nice Easter colors. You'll see I've already got a variety of pastels here in my swatches. If you don't, you can just come in and pick some using your various hue saturation elements. But I'll start with one of the ones I picked last time. I like this pink color. And maybe I'll stick with white, and we'll do one in yellow. Now as I adjust my ramp type, maybe I like a box ramp. And let's go this way. And I'll come into my Place 2D node, give this a few repeats. Maybe I'll stagger it. We'll pull that out into the base color to see what it looks like. And I've got this cute little pattern. If I'd like it to be messier, I can come back into the ramp, give it a little bit of noise, see if that messes it up a little bit. Sometimes you make things and they're too neat and you don't like them anymore. I would also recommend adding an AI color jitter here so that they don't all look exactly the same. I'll be going from the out color of the ramp to the input of the color jitter, and then from the out color of the color jitter to the base color of the material. Nothing will change at first, but as I set the type over to Object and then adjust the hue values, you'll see that each of them takes on a slightly different hue. If I don't like the colors that I'm getting, there's also a seed down here. The seed will let me just cycle through different colors for all of them. And if there's not enough variation, I can come in here and just continue to adjust the hue. Again, if you want some to be brighter and some to be darker, you can adjust the gain, and the saturation will make some of them rather overstated. Find values that work for you and get yourself some nice foil eggs. I will pause this video here. When I come back, I will tackle the glass egg.